Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Redington virtual session. Today's topic we have from Palo Alto Networks on Cortex Secures the Future. We are rewiring the security operations, and the session is delivered by our pre-sales engineer, Naveed. In case you have any questions during the session, I would request you to please put in all your queries in the Q&A tab, and Naveed will be able to address them towards the end of the session. Naveed, you can begin.
Thank you, Bindya. Hello, guys. My name is Naveed, and I'm the pre-sales engineer for Enterprise Security in Redington Gulf. And today we'll be talking about Cortex. So, if everyone is aware of what Cortex is, it's a good thing. But if it is not, if they are not, then it's a good chance to understand what is this product about and how it can help the security investigations. So, as the name suggests, it is securing the future. So the product itself has features that are futuristic, and we'll be in this session we'll be seeing how and what it can do. Okay, so first of all, we'll be focusing on what are the challenges when it comes to security operations. So as you can see, with time, okay, since I think last couple of years, since I would say 1998 till present, there has been exponential growth in terms of volumes of attacks or data breaches, and not just the volumes, but also the complexity and sophistication of the attacks. So you can see, as every year or every couple of years, there has been increase in the different types of attacks, different methods of breaches, and the volume. So right now, as you can see, there are 925 million plus malicious programs registered, and the complexity or sophistication of attack is not just limited to malicious code or file-based attack, but rather it has grown into multi-staged, human intervened, highly intelligent, and planned attacks, I would say, which are not just a single staged, but rather multi-staged, uh, which are called, I would say, advanced persistent threats, okay, in modern days, and they are focused on huge organizations, maybe financial sector or government organizations, and even countries, okay, with the malicious intent of either spoiling the reputation, or with a malicious intent of data exfiltration, or causing business harm, I would say, to these organizations. So currently security operations cannot be traditional, okay, and it is very important so that we focus on security operations. So talking about the challenges, so what do the security teams face challenges with? So if you are aware of how security operations team work, they basically look into security incidents, and they try to remediate it or investigate it, I would say, first, and then find out the root cause analysis and remediate it. But it is simple if you're facing few, I would say, limited number of or less number of incidents per day. But when it comes to security operations, it's a whole team, and definitely such kind of deployment is at scale. So you will see a lot of noise. By noise, I mean a lot of alerts, okay, and these alerts are not just from a single technology, security technology. It would be from a number of silos-based technologies, which means at each and every layer, when you implement security in an organization, you will have different security products implemented, starting with the perimeter, then passive security for analysis, and then again another layer at data center, then endpoint, user-based protection. All of these different technologies and products, they basically detect, and they try to prevent different types of attacks. In this process, they generate a lot of alerts, okay, which become incidents when it comes to security operations. And in this process, people or the analysts, they try to investigate, do root cause analysis of the different incidents, and as the noise increases, as the number of security incidents increase, a lot of repetitive tasks or manual tasks for handling the same type of incidents also increase. So this causes, I would say, impact on the overall operational efficiency of the security operations team. Okay. The biggest challenge here, what we see with security operations, is the operational efficiency, and it increases. I would say with the I would say the scale of deployment. So bigger organization, a huge security team or security operations, you face challenges with the processes, with management, and even with operational efficiency. So in a simple diagram, this is how it is explained. So when you have a SOC or security operations center at the center of your security nerve of any organization, you have different technologies implemented like SIM, EDR, NTA, network traffic analyzer, and also nowadays, hot topic is IoT. So, and everything is on cloud as well, hybrid cloud and public cloud, private cloud. So it is also important to secure data off the premises. Okay, so you can see here a lot of data sources, they send data to the different uh, analysis technologies or analytical technologies like SIM, EDR, and then they build their own dashboards and reports. They generate their own alerts and send it to the SOC platform or SOC solution, and then the SOC team, they work on investigation and response, and even nowadays hunting. So it's a huge process, and managing such a setup is also time consuming, and it will also have like the challenges we discussed before. So efficiency is lost when you try to implement such a solution at scale, and it becomes more and more complex. Yeah. So this is a clear, picture of how mature your security operations is. You will know with the type of deployment you have. Okay. So on the top, you can see there is efficiency and there is mean time to resolution or mean time to detection, and how risky is your security posture of your organization. So your graph should be, should be growing from left to right to becoming more efficient, or I would say more proactive, okay, rather than following the other line of being more risky. So a mature, previously security operations used to be less mature, okay, or reactive with traditional technology or legacy solutions, which are rule based, okay, and collect a lot of data or lot of security logs, but on a solution which only aggregates them. So here there is no automation, there is no intelligence, and even the investigation is done manually. So when you say rule based, it is every analyst has to investigate, or I would say look into single logs, okay, find out what is happening by looking into each and every log based on simple rules. So when the technology evolved, maturity also improved. Then came the medium mature deployments, wherein logs also, or the type of data also expanded, and you're starting to collect logs not from just your network, but also your endpoint and other security technologies. So here, the siloed data collection approach happened, and your detection, I would say, became based upon correlation rules. So here the rules started to work on not just a single log, but multiple logs from multiple data sources. And the automation also became partial. So some of the investigations and detections and response happened by human intervention, and some by automated scripts. But you cannot depend on just medium level security operations. Why? Because these scripts or these automated responses are not full-fledged, and the integrations also will take a lot of efforts and time. So the best is high, okay, or proactive security operations, where you collect data from not just traditional security data sources, but also non-traditional, or rest of the other data sources, I would say. It basically follows a big data analytical approach. So where your data is not just from security, but every data source in your organization, be it firewall, IDS, IPS, which is network based, and EDR, or I would say uh, sandboxing or threat intel, and these are again, I would say kind of passive as well as active security data sources, but also other data sources like Active Directory and asset inventory, etc., and so on. So here, when you become a fully mature security operations team, you analyze not just based upon correlated rules and not just look into multiple data or security data logs or data logs from different data sources, but you also involve machine learning, AI, or intelligence, and do automated actions, take automated actions as well. So here a lot of different things are involved, where you do data normalization, data enrichment, applying context, and analyzing the data through machine learning and AI. So that's the unique approach that even Palo Alto Networks Cortex applies. So we also, initially it was called Security Operations Platform, or SOP, during the phase of development or even testing. But when they launched, it is now called Cortex. So as you see, the approach that they have followed is a fully mature approach, where it is based on big data platform, and it collects all the types of data from all the types of data sources, I would say, and it has its own AI engine and machine learning platform, and also it automates investigations, responses, and actions using its own patented technology. So, so rewiring security operations with Cortex is basically preventing everything you can. Okay, so it's not just looking into the endpoint, I would say, endpoint security data. It is also looking into network-related data and prevent whatever you can, rather than having control over only on the endpoints and not on the network. And if you are able to see, if you're collecting data from network as well as endpoints and other data sources, you build a platform to investigate as much as you can, or in a better way. So everything you can't prevent, even if you miss out on something, it provides you a platform for detecting and investigating fast. And finally, like we said, it is also automated to take responses, not just based on scripts, but also it has its own technology to take actions in a fully fledged integrated way. So you can see this is how the Cortex SOP works. You have integration with endpoint. You have automated actions using SOAR. You have integrated threat intel, which is autofocus. So I would say endpoint security is, if you know Palo Alto Networks, there was Traps before. Now it is the same agent, but it's much more intelligent after integration with Cortex. Then they have also acquired something called Demisto, which acts as a SOAR for orchestrating with different technologies like firewalls, IPS, IDS, sandbox, whatnot. Basically, its task is to coordinate with the different security technologies and work on the incidents and take automated actions or responses. Then threat intel, it is again Palo Alto's technology, which is autofocus, and combining all of these along with machine learning based threat detection, which takes it next level, not just depending upon the signatures or traditional AV based detection techniques or response techniques, to ML based, machine learning based threat detection. And it also provides you a single pane of glass to look into your network, your endpoint, and all of your third party security data to collaborate. Collaborate, I mean, to follow a workflow where you have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 engineers or experts, and which work using the different dashboards and reports of Cortex in doing investigation and response, and also take automated action. So it is a combination of data, a platform, human intelligence, and process and tools integrated together. So we'll be looking into different use cases, how Cortex or Cortex XDR helps you. So first is endpoint protection. So if you see endpoint protection, there are various challenges that currently every organization faces when it comes to legacy endpoint protection solutions. So they are not able to keep up with the advanced attacks, which are like we saw, which since the last couple of years they have grown from just simple file-based attacks to multi-stage advanced attacks, and also endpoint protection solutions or legacy even EDRs. They are only focusing on endpoint-related data. So, however, in depth they look into an endpoint, okay, they still are only focusing on endpoint-related data. And that's how you create different silos. By silos I mean different areas or different technologies and different visibilities into network and endpoint. So you using a traditional EDR or even next generation AV and EDR, you cannot look into the entire network and endpoint data, and you cannot even understand how is the security posture when it comes to EDR about the network and endpoints. So, and like I said, yeah, that's the same thing. So EDR is limited. It does not provide you visibility into the network. It only provides you visibility into the endpoints, which are the final targets when it comes to data breach. But that's not the case with Cortex XDR. So, like you say, we see an example where we have a multi-stage attack. So, following, I would say everyone knows MITRE attack framework. So, before any simple multi-stage attack, I would not say simple because definitely APT is complex. But even if a basic multi-staged attack would follow different stages from reconnaissance, wherein you try to steal the identity of the user or any employee of your organization. You try to the attacker basically tries to get into the network or any target endpoint using RPC or malware. So this is called exploitation, I would say. And then this is called the delivery using any kind of evading technologies like phishing emails and plugins or using websites, farming websites. And then there is exploitation of once they get access to the endpoint or any machine in their network, they try to exploit the vulnerabilities and then infect endpoint by establishing command and control, downloading a malware, getting full access of the machine, and then finally lateral movement by spreading into the network to find out, basically achieve what they want to do, like getting down the network, basically choking up the network by any kind of botnet attack or bringing down a server, critical server, or stealing some kind of critical data. So all of these can be prevented with our best-in-class endpoint protection using Cortex XDR by, as you can see on the right. So phishing kind of emails can be prevented by technique, phishing. I would say knowledge of technique used in phishing attacks. Then there is malware protected or more malware protection and trained by wildfire. So it means the Cortex XDR has knowledge about the different malware techniques, exploitation techniques that are used in a multi-stage attack. Even it is integrated with our sandboxing technology called Wildfire, which looks into unknown files or unknown malwares and identifies, tests them, and gives a verdict if it's a benign file or it's a it's a malicious file, or if it's a grayware in between, it's a neutral file, but you still need to block it. And finally, this is the BTP or behavioral threat protection is a patented technology from Palo Alto, which they have applied in Cortex, where you use analytical AI, basically analytics and machine learning to form a baseline to profile different behaviors or attack patterns on your endpoint and across your entire network, and understand what is normal and what is anomalous. So this way, Cortex XDR provides you a platform by collecting security data not from endpoint as well as security to investigate and respond. So this way we prevent all the threats, not just file-based attacks, which are known signature-based threats, but also unknown file-based, fileless, and advanced APTs, I would say, using the knowledge of malwares, exploitation techniques, malware and exploitation techniques, and BTP by understanding the different behaviors of or attack patterns that are happening And this data is collected from across 30,000 customers, and around 4 trillion events, I would say, are collected. And till now, this is the statistics. Cortex XDR has collected 4 trillion events, and it is still growing, and around 2 billion malware files. Okay? So as you know, AI and machine learning improves by giving them more and more data, and that's how we can depend on the platform and the technology that Palo Alto has developed by learning about the different by learning about how it is doing it. So it is basically feeding it a lot of data, a lot of events, and trying to find out what is good and what is bad. And after finding out what is good and what is bad, it also is preventing them and sharing the protections to not just endpoint security, but to also network security. So like it provides this intelligence and prevention knowledge to endpoints. Yeah, so the Cortex XDR agent, I would say, it is intelligent enough to prevent simple as well as advanced attacks, and even the NGFW, the firewall, also receives. It is integrated with the Cortex XDR, so it receives all the intelligence from the wildfire, from the EDR part to prevent at the network level. So this leads to not just Cortex XDR, even though being analytics platform, which had started from endpoint protection, but has become now enterprise-wide detection and response, because it is not just limited to detection and prevention of endpoints and related attacks, but also the entire network and endpoint related attacks. And even Cortex XDR can collect data from your cloud assets. Yeah. So moving on, there is another use case which is threat detection. So yeah, we talked about that. So we follow a zero day or zero threat prevention approach. So or 0-day attack approach, wherein you prevent all the attacks. You don't trust any at any level, but you can't prevent all the attacks, definitely. So because attacks are growing, and security is never 100%. So in this process, a lot of false positives are generated, and the security operations team, they miss out on the I would say highly pertinent incidents, looking into the doing the usual repetitive tasks, of looking into the basic uh, incidents which come in bulk and which happen every I would say every day. Okay, so when you can't prevent the attacks and you are looking into a lot of false positives, you tend to miss out on critical incidents, and that's how you get attacked. And then you start with the incident response rather than being proactive and blocking it first and doing I would say looking into the threat hunting part or being more proactive. So now, apart from that, also the, as you saw, the different legacy solutions, they don't have knowledge about uh, behavior. So, and that's why security operations team have to look into do the investigation and look into the different patterns or different patterns of attack or different data sets to understand what is happening. Okay, even if they are under attack, so how to mitigate it. So this is basically anomalous behavior that you have to detect, but it is pushed onto the security operations team because of the lack of I would say intelligence in the legacy solutions. So detecting anomalies through the different data sets becomes a human job, and definitely it's a tedious task to look into the different security technologies, different data sets, and stitch together the different attack patterns and understand what is happening. Yeah. So previously, even though you have AI and ML implemented in any kind of SOC solution, you look into the data from cloud, you look into the data from endpoint, you look into the data from NTA or a network, but you still need human correlation. Okay? But with Cortex XDR, like you can see, it collects data from your network, from your endpoint, from your cloud, and even third-party solutions. And it has integration, as it's a platform. It has integration based on APIs, and once it has collected data from the different areas or security domains, it applies machine learning. It's a patented technology, by the way, behavioral analytics based upon machine learning, and custom rules. So here, the platform is worked upon by human developers as well, and it also self-develops because it's based on AI and machine learning. And the end result is high signal alerts, removing the false positives, and making sure that we are focusing on highly pertinent or highly critical incidents. And this gives even the the I would say the layer one engineer with the platform or with the ease of use to look into the incidents rather than just doing the repetitive tasks and being more reactive. Yeah. So that's how, as we collect data from every domain, security domain, we get full visibility to detect complex threats. Our patented behavioral analytics technology, finds, I would say, blind spots in network, in endpoint, or even in any kind of unmanaged asset that has that is in the that is part of the security infrastructure. And even MITRE has tested out Cortex XDR, and they have found out that I would say they have tested 10 vendors, and they found out Cortex XDR to be the most efficient in finding in detection and response. And if I'm right, there were around they tested it across different malware and exploitation techniques, and they found out out of 136 techniques, 121 were successfully these techniques were successfully detected and blocked by Cortex XDR. So moving on to second use case, it is third, I would say, investigation and response. So when we talk about investigation, what makes an investigation more easy? It is context, right? So if you have knowledge of attacks, if you have knowledge of preventative security technologies, but you don't have understanding of or I would say more context. When you talk about context, it is more uh, dig, deep down knowledge or deep down information about uh, how the attack will proceed, I would say, or how we can identify an attack even before it happens, or what kind of impact the attack will have on an organization. So if you have all of this information, you will be able to handle the alerts in a better way rather than just understanding what is the entry point of the attack and what is the uh, what is the impact currently. So context basically gives you more insight about the type of attack, the impact it will have, and what steps you should take to prevent it way before, and what you can basically predict what can happen, or what security actions you should take to avoid such kind of attacks. So, so in this way, most of the legacy solutions currently, even though they have analytics based, and AI based solutions as SOC, but they still lack, in terms of context. Investigations are highly manual. Yeah, even though you have SOC, like we saw, bulk operations and repetitive tasks make new developments, I would say, difficult, and security operations still remains less efficient and reactive. So investigations are highly manual. And finding out the root cause, I would say, even a simple security, not simple, I would say it's a basic security incident, even takes hours to days to investigate by manual method, or by a security analyst. Yeah. So before it, like we say, different data used to be collected and placed at a single data store or platform and analyzed, but without context, it is not easy to investigate. So with Cortex XDR, it collects security data from different technologies like NTA, EP, endpoint protection, PI, UEBA, and GFW, but it also stitches together and adds more context to the to the investigation by following by creating a process tree, I would say. So the diagram that you're seeing is called causality group diagram, where you see what happened first, what happened next, and what will happen in the future, or what happened actually, and what can happen, the impact. Okay, so these are just icons, but when you actually work on the platform, you will also get in you know dig down or dig options to see what impact it will have, or what process tree it has run, and what process tree it can run in terms of each and every process. in terms of each and every step in the process tree. So the key differentiators here is intelligent alert grouping. So you basically get alerts. Basically, you convert the incidents into alerts, okay, and you get a different set of high alert grouped together. So you can look into them first. Data integration for full visibility. Yeah, so they stitch together the network endpoint and third-party data sources and the incidents and the alerts, and they provide you with even options. So investigation, it is no more manual. The process tree makes it simple to see into the different steps that happen in an attack and the different, even the inline information where what process will execute next and what processes have started the child process and so on, detailed information. And even it will show you, it will basically highlight the point at which you need to do manual action. Moving on to managed threat hunting, yeah. So Cortex XDR, being a platform, it is available to the customers as I would say as managed detection and response as well. So like you see, many organizations, even if they have a security operations team and they have a fully-fledged, mature security operations platform, they still don't find enough time to move on from the traditional investigation and response methods to being more proactive, like threat hunting. And even if you are aware, the data and the context that you need for threat hunting is huge. You cannot just do threat hunting with gaps in between the security posture of your organization. So if you are depending only on, I would say, EDR to look into the endpoint related data and understanding what kind of attacks are happening in different technology, and then you're looking into your firewalls for analyzing the security logs and understanding what kind of attacks are happening at the network, and then you're looking into your SIM, for analytics and for complete visibility. You have three different technologies or silos, and you have multiple other solutions as well with different dashboards, reports, and options to investigate and search for the data and understand what is happening at each and every layer. Okay, so this definitely will cause a huge time for doing the threat hunting. And finally, shortage of experts. Yeah, even though there are n number of incident responders, I would say threat hunters are very few. So if you I would say in India region itself, you will find very less threat hunters, in between 0 to 10. Okay, so our approach here is again it offloads the responsibility of response or detection and response of threat hunting onto Palo Alto team. So if you can see here, before there used to be a firewall, IDS, or network security technologies sending the data to SIM, even adding more context using threat intel, NTA, endpoint logs, cloud logs, everything collected at a single data store, and then you apply analytics to it, and then threat hunting team will work on it. But the current, I would say, due to the current scenario, I would say we have seen from multiple customers that they don't find time to do the uh, time of the investigation response and do proactive threat hunting. So Cortex XDR also offers managed threat hunting with their Unit 42 team, which are basically available 24/7 uh, across the year to look into all of the data and all of the incidents and provide you with the investigations and reports. Okay, so they look into the data from every security domain, and they use the platform for uh, for understanding what is happening in your environment daily on a daily basis and be more proactive. So that's what we talked about. It is backed up by Unit 42, which is a team of threat researchers from Palo Alto, and they look into the data from all across your environment, and even they use their own intelligence, like human knowledge, to understand what is happening across your network to do the hunting, and as well as it is augmented by the threat intel, which is autofocus, even wildfire, the sandboxing technologies to make the results more intelligent or more accurate. And finally, they provide you with detailed reports, clear and cut, with precise information of what is happening and what should be done to make it more proactive. And the final, use case is managed detection and response. So we offload, customers' responsibility in terms of hunting and incident response to our, I would say, capable managed security providers or partners. So as security operations, even though they are becoming more and more intelligent, okay, even if a fully mature security operations team is available, they are able to handle. This is the statistics which is from Dimis to So report, by the way. So they are able to only handle 7% of the alerts, and the traditional security services are also limited. So like we said, the responsibility of investigation response is it is actually not the job of security team. Okay, so even though you have an organization, you have different teams. You have security team, you have SOC team. Security team takes care of the individual technologies like network security, endpoint security, and SOC team takes care of the the visibility and the investigation and response of the entire security incidents. So due to the lack of, I would say, knowledge, lack of expertise, and due to the huge, alerts, a huge number of alerts, this responsibility is again, pushed on to the security team. So this is the biggest challenge right away. So hunting is not, or managed detection and response helps you out with, with providing SLAs, okay, industry standard SLAs, which is not achieved by the traditional, busy customer security operations team. So before, yeah, analysts were bogged down by alert volume. There were different point products to look into with limited context. Investigations are manual and complex. Uh, Experts, rarely have time to be proactive. So this can be handled by, there are several managed MSSPs, I would say, managed security service providers, which provide you with which use the Cortex XDR platform and provide you with industry within this managed detection and response and industry standard SLAs with the 24/7 365 monitoring, alert triage, investigation, context enrichment, and threat hunting. So as you can see, the mean time to detect or resolve or respond is reduced from hours or days to less than 60 minutes or less than 1 hour, I would say. So you can see the benefits here are faster time to resolution, and the MSSP that we are talking about, they are some of the names are mentioned here, and they are the ones which have been in the market since last 50 years, with the experience of managed detection and response solution services. Okay, and then they have been proven, their expertise and their efficiency over the years, and those MDRs have been, or I would say, MSSPs have been chosen to provide MDR service on behalf of Palo Alto. So this also helps you with the, with efficiency and with the basically offloading the tasks and making sure that the SLA is maintained. So to summarize, this is how Cortex XDR works or looks like. So you have Cortex XDR. Palo Alto has its own, data lake hosted on the cloud. So they have their own platform called Cortex XDR. So together they form security operations platform, and they collect data from not just network, which is NGFW, Palo Alto NGFW, but also their endpoints, which was before Traps, endpoint security, but now it is called as XDR agent. Yeah, and even Global Protect, I would say VPN, which has the same agent which provides Global Protect VPN has a HIP feature, which can, which provides the data about host information profile to Cortex data lake. And even when it comes to cloud data sources, it provides Prisma access, which is again a remote cloud-based remote access VPN service, or I would say SaaS service, SaaS, provides security data to Cortex Data Lake and VM-based firewalls as well. And even the Cortex Data Lake can be used by third-party solutions. So Palo Alto has developed the data lake to easily integrate with other technologies, which are the well-known vendors, security providers in the market. So even they can use the data which has been collected by Palo Alto from across 30,000 customers across the globe to improve their technology or add intelligence to their security, their solutions, and improve the security posture of their customers. So similarly, it's like a give and take approach. So at the center is a data lake, which is again worked upon the Cortex XDR, and we implement all the use cases that we saw in the previous slides. So providing you with overcoming the zero-day attacks or zero trust, following a zero trust approach. So without trusting anyone, preventing everything, and providing best-in-class security when it comes to endpoint, network, and even user behavior, user-based attacks, I would say. Yeah. So this is what we discussed: full visibility, patented behavioral analytics technology, and industry-leading coverage. So MITRE has its own report for Cortex XDR, where it evaluated 10 vendors and 136 malicious techniques. And Cortex XDR was able to show the highly efficient score on the report, and it showed that 121 malicious attack techniques were prevented. So this is also again consolidated score by MITRE. So you can see Palo Alto scored 88 and compared to other vendors. Yeah, and if you're aware, Cortex, Palo Alto has been the leader in Gartner since last consecutive 6 years, and they have huge reputed, I would say, huge number of reputed customers in every vertical, and has been recognized by the different organizations. Thank you. So if you can let me know if you have any questions or if you have any doubts, I can help you out with them in the chat.
Okay, we don't have any more questions. Yeah, no more questions, Naveed. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. And also thanks to all the attendees for making time and joining the session. So look forward to hosting more sessions for you guys. Thanks, Naveed.
Thank you.